Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Tijoma, the journey of my artistry. So we're at Ultrasound Studios in Calabar, right? And I'm here with my friend, my mentor, and my pastor, PAV. I call him PAV, but I'll allow him to introduce himself. So,
well, calls me PAV, innit? My name is Alexander Victor. That's the name that my mama gave me. But they call me PAV because I'm a pastor, so it's the acronym PAV, Alexander Victor. That's me, huh?
All right. So, what do you do? Planter turns.
Oh, what do I do? It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to answer. I mean, at the core of my assignment, I'm a teacher of the word.
Okay.
So you can call me pastor if you like, the core of it. But then I'm a media consultant. I'm a worship leader. I'm a radio and TV presenter. I'm a published author. I'm a public speaker. I'm an image consultant as well.
Okay.
Amongst other things. I'm a theologian. I'm a teacher. I'm a singer. Not so much. I used to try. Songwriter, of course.
Yeah.
Music producer.
Yeah.
Audio engineer. Let me stop there.
That means there's a lot.
I'm just a son of
like
God.
ETC at the end.
I'm just a faculty of many different. No, I'm not actually. I'm a university of different faculties. Do you understand? And in different faculties, there's different departments, and different departments, there's
it's so, it cascades down. Okay,
so. Am I sounding so local? Oh my days! Oh God!
That is just for you.
I've been spoiled rotten. Yeah, but yeah, that's me. I do a plethora of things.
A lot of things.
It's kind of hard to define. What I do in one title or something. But yeah.
So I think it kind of demystifies the thing where everybody feels a title is needed to identify with one title. Because I think I've noticed, especially in the creative space, everyone wants to be, I'm at this.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying, I do this, I love to do this, I'm good at this, I'm good at that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a function of where the society has put us.
Okay.
We grew up in a pre-colonial, in fact, even pre-colonial and post-colonial society where we are measured, or we were unconsciously and consciously measured by our parents on account of what we achieved.
Yep.
They were the A-class professions: doctor, engineer, architect, lawyer, and then there's the B-class, and then there's the non-class. Like, imagine growing up in my day and your father asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, I want to be a graphic artist. The slap that you slap.
What is it? You just wake up 2 months later.
You want to be painting something.
That's not what I said to school to do.
So over time we now formed that paradigm where we identify ourselves based on what we do.
Yeah.
And that limits us
to what we can create and what we can do.
By the time I call myself Alexander Sax or Alexander Keyboard, I've created a box and cocooned myself such that I am not able to do beyond what I've defined. That's one. Two, where I decide to branch out, it'd be difficult to change that paradigm in the minds of people that have gotten accustomed to you in the box.
Yes, actually, yes.
So I mean, we have gifts.
So why not express them?
Because and be known by who you are and your expressions, not
exactly.
your title.
Not your title.
So my name is going to be now what? Engineer, pastor, doctor, singer, musician, keyboardist. Come on, man. Come on.
Everything
Give
together.
me a break.
So because especially in this world of creativity, when a lot of people think being creative, you have to have a special skill to be creative, right? And right now, I think I'm focusing on creatives who are believers. Right. So from your perspective, who is a creative?
Man, creation. The word creative, of course, brings into focus the word creation.
Mm-hmm.
And the word creation invariably brings into focus the word creator. The word creator, of course, brings into focus the supreme being, God. So by the time you say creative, at whatever level of the food chain of creativity, you cannot divorce creativity at its core from God.
Exactly.
Who is a creative? I mean, I'm going to go spiritual right now. I'm going to go Bible on all your. In the beginning, God. God created. So our introduction of God, Peter,
was He created.
Created. Before it even tells you that God is love or God is great or God is wonderful or God is forgiving or God is it is in the beginning God created. So our first introduction of God is that of his creativity. That suggests that his love, his healing, his forgiveness, his justification, his sovereignty, his excellence, his magnanimity, everything about God is an expression of his creativity. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
Now, and then he goes on to say, let us now make man in our own image and after our own likeness. And of course, that image and likeness is not just physical, as in God does not have two nostrils, 2 eyes and stuff. We take on the attributes of God. And we already know this guy to be a creative professional par excellence. If I'm created in his image and his likeness, then it means that creativity is an attribute infusion.
Of yes. So it's part of who we are.
It's part of who we are. It's our DNA, to be honest. So a creative, in my opinion, and my understanding, is one who is in touch with the fact that he's created in the image and likeness of the Creator.
Yes,
God.
Because that really demystifies. That's another myth that creatives are people who are special if you're not artistic. Yeah. For example, when I click of friends and we're talking, they say, okay, so all you creatives, and it's like, are you trying to say that we are different from you? Yeah. So you do this, you create music, you create art, you do this, so you're a creative. I'm like, so I try to explain it to them, right? Like, dude, we're all creative, just different expressions. Yeah. How I express what I see is different from you, and it's unique and it's okay. We don't have to say the same thing, right? And tying that to the fact that a lot of people think that, okay, being a creative and our faith as believers are two different things, because this notion of Sunday is I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, then on Monday to Friday I'm a creative, and there's no difference. I'm going to work, I need to focus on work. And I started to notice this pattern that I noticed that a lot of believers who were in the creative space, who were doing something, they're 9 to 5. I'm talking about, when I'm saying creativity, I'm referring to bankers. I'm referring to every vocation. I noticed that you don't see there's this bridge, there's this divide between their faith and their work. And I slowly got to understand that it's not like they're two different things. It's just one same thing if you choose to say, like you said, identifying yourself with the source. If you want to, it's easier to flow. And I didn't experiment. That most creatives who were in touch with that identity, what they birthed was different. So how do you see that, especially that work and life? How does it work for you? Saying that you are a lot of things at the same time. So how does your faith and your work, how do they flow? How does it intertwine?
We already started that from my earlier statement about creativity being an outflow of God. You probably like pork. I don't. I can't deal with pigs, man. And my mother's tribe, they're known for rearing a lot of pigs. I watched my grandma. I watched the pig rolling in the mud, eating feces, and doing stuff, and then like 2 days to Christmas or something, it's the same pig. You want to go kill pigs, and pigs don't die easy. You got to beat the crap out of them, weaken them, and then starve them and then cut them, and that's the same pig. And so it's not about New Testament or Old Testament. I just don't do pork. You probably like pork or something, bacon, whatever. The point I'm making is the pork that I don't like, and the chicken that I like, that I love, all come from the same creator. So creativity is as versatile as it can be confusing. It cannot be divorced from our faith because it comes from He who is the author and the perfecter of our faith. Creativity essentially, therefore, is the expression of one's faith in the secular space. And I use the word secular cautiously, because in many respects there's no such thing as secular, because when He created the world, He didn't create the world secular and then create the word Christian. I know some religious people ain't gonna like that right now. But it's like saying secular music. What's that?
It's music.
Music is music. And God created music. So God is the creative behind music. It's perversions nonetheless. So in whatever vocation that we find ourselves, it's God we're supposed to be expressing. And if we're believers, then it's not divorced from our faith. It should not be divorced
from our faith.
Because it's an expression of that faith in a particular dynamic of life.
That's unique.
You know, God created everything. God created the birds that fly, you know, he created the fishes in the sea, you know, the animals that crawl, the ones that have 4 legs. All that diversification comes from the same creative energy of God.
Yeah.
And that was him he wasn't trying to be God. He was just creating because he is
a creator.
God. He's a creator.
Yeah.
Now, if we have his image, and I'm doing what I'm doing now as a media professional, I don't have to be doing that separate from my faith. Neither do I have to do my faith separate from that.
It. Yes.
It's an extension of me. It's an expression of me as is relevant to the particular sphere of life that I find myself. So it's one and the same. I mean, I'm not going to go to telling everybody, you know what, I'm a believer. You know, I'm a Christian. My friend, when I do your graphics, you see Jesus inside. You know what I mean? Because that's another extreme.
Yeah, that's another extreme.
Yeah, where we feel like, you know, you must rub it on people, everybody's face, you know, and come across as being a nuisance. That's not what we mean. But the consciousness of the fact that every creative expression, every vocational expression is an expression of who I am in God. Because it's an attribute of God, his creativity, that I'm exploring.
I think you've even touched a couple of things, because even with that, like you said, how to solve that, the problem of trying to rub into people's faces that, oh, I'm a believer, so if you see my design, you see I must put the cross, it must be big. There must be a big Jesus Christ there in red
color.
Lord, sorry, to show. and I found out that idea that excellence is one key thing that I notice a lot of creatives don't pay attention to, especially believers. They feel, oh, like I heard this one took me off. I think we're about going on stage, and I dance, by the way. I think we're going on stage, and next thing, okay, no, we're supposed to go see a couple of days there, and we're rehearsing, and then we're like, dude, he said he does have the Holy Spirit saying we should keep pressing on, we should keep rehearsing. I'm like, why do we need to rehearse? We have gotten the steps, we all got the steps, but there was something we needed to do. He said, why are we doing more of that? We should just go on stage and the Holy Spirit cover up the rest for us. We don't. And I was like, Jabberwockies and the Kingers, which are professional dancers, these guys, even if you're paying them for a show, they do all nights back to back, like 8 hours non-stop rehearsal on something they know. I remember once, even a move of a finger, they did over 250 times just to get it right, all of them. And like, these are people who were not certain of their faith, but you could see the level of excellence they put into the work. So I feel the best way for people to know that we believe is basically by the quality of work we do, our ethics. So for you, what are the primary ethics? What are a couple of ethics, your work ethics and your work process? What's one thing that it's a core, like the fundamental of it?
Right. Before I answer that, let me just touch on excellence and our faith. The tricky part is one can be excellent and that excellence is not an expression of his or her faith. Okay. In other words, not everything that is excellent is therefore an expression of a faith in God.
Okay.
However, no one who has reposed faith in God has any excuse to be anything less than excellent.
Okay. I think that creates a balance.
Yeah. So that understanding is very crucial, lest we start to attribute every excellent thing to, this person is expressing faith in God. Not necessarily. But for those of us who are sons of God, for those of us who have reposed our faith in God, there's no reason why we shouldn't be excellent, and there's no reason why the excellence that we exhibit is not the trend-setting excellence. In other words, the excellence by which then secular excellence starts to be measured.
Yep.
Do you understand? So somebody can be good in their stuff, but then if I am a son of God, I have faith, and I do something, I should be so good that my goodness in my vocation is what now sets the benchmark for what goodness should be measured by. Okay. That's crucial. Okay. And that's all goes into my answer about my work. That's my work ethic, really. I always believe that my best is the least that God deserves. That's my personal mantra. My best is the very least that God deserves. I work for my conviction. You know, I don't work so much for the money. I'm such a bad case to a degree. And that's why I need to be surrounded by the kind of people that I'm surrounded with, the kind of spouse I have, the kind of team I have. Because I can get so engrossed in working for the merit of the work that I do that sometimes at the expense of the financial implication, the overheads, stuff like that. But I'd rather have it that way. I'd rather be learning managerial balance than trying to stifle my creativity for money. So my ethic is I respect my work. I love my work. I am accountable to my work. Okay. And therefore I'm the largest critic of my work. I work to get to the point where I'm convinced that I've given the work no less than it deserves, and also importantly, not more than it deserves. So at the point if I've taken a song, for instance, as a music producer, and I take a song on for say 50 grand, and somebody else comes and says, you know what, I can't deal. I don't have the money. Can you do this for me for free? Or I even determine, you know what, I'm just gonna do this for you. For free. There is no disparity in the quality of the work.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So somebody else come in and say, you know what, I just feel like to mess you up, let me just pay you 1 million for one song. It might make me go nuts, like, psyche wise.
Yeah.
But it should not. It really should not hamper
the quality
of the work. If I'm sitting down to produce a song that is going to be linked to me, it's like I'm birthing a child.
Yeah.
So my work ethic is such that I give the work what the work deserves. I don't impose my momentary feelings on my work. I don't impose my current situation
on your work.
Because I know it's very easy. It's very easy to
let these things
influence your work without realizing that it actually colored your creativity.
Yeah.
So there's the saturation of your creativity is off.
Blurred it up a little bit.
Blurred a little bit. Yeah. The contrast is kind of off because it's been affected negatively by stuff that's around you.
Yeah.
So I respect the work for what the work is, in spite of me.
Yeah.
Because everyone's work should be bigger than them. Yeah. Everyone's work is their legacy.
Something that they want people to remember them.
It's what your reference point is. So if you're going to do something, do it for what it is. Do it as excellently as you can. Do it on time and satisfy the client.
If you say 8 a.m., it should be 8 a.m. Because I think that's another issue. Because there's this thing about brand developers and designers, especially in my sphere, and they will tell you, don't worry, we'll give you something in 2 days' time. We'll give you 2 days. Meanwhile, they know very well the 2 days is if there is 24/7 light, there's 24/7 internet, the world doesn't come to an end, there's no hunger strike. And then they find themselves struggling to do something and they end up cooking something half-baked out there. And they're like, hey, you should try and understand. Like you said, letting emotions, your surrounding. I can confess, I remember a project once where I allowed what was going on at that point influence the project. So when I was done with the project, a couple of weeks later, I looked at it like, wait, I can't associate myself with this. I didn't do this because so it's good that we separate our emotions and our feelings as much as sometimes they help enhance it, but it's like a neutral tool. It could kill or build. So I think separating that. And you also touched on a couple of things I want to ask on creative block, because when people say, okay, I have a creative block, I'm in that point where how do you draw inspiration, or how do you, because I read an article funny enough this morning that there are two types of creatives: people who draw inspiration from some things and people who does create from something new. So what class are you on?
So for me, that's like two questions in one. For me, answering the latter question, I think I'm sort of hybrid between the two. Again, my reference point is God and scripture. And it says that by faith, Hebrews 11:3, by faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things that now are came out of the things that were not. So that's the creative benchmark that has been set for us.
Sorry.
Do you understand? The creative benchmark that has been set for us is Genesis 1:2. And the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God hovered over the surface of the waters. And then verse 3. That was the conducive atmosphere for creativity to manifest from nothing. And that's the creative benchmark. Now, somebody else might say, you need stimulus, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is great. But the creativity that is on my inside, that is a reflection of the image and likeness of God, is that is equipped or designed to draw stuff out of nothing. So again, that's where the faith and creativity thing overlaps. Because if I'm convinced that my creativity is an expression of my faith, and my creative benchmark is that this dude in who I have believed, in whom I've reposed my faith, created stuff on a constant out of nothing, then I can do the same. On a constant out of nothing, in spite of what I feel.
Exactly.
However, it is easier said than done, because even though we're perfect in the spirit, we're still in our earthly sanctification process. So inevitably, earth factors will act on our creativity. Hence, writer's block, singer's block, creative block, whatever. And that is where one might then fall back into the option of allowing yourself to be stimulated by other created things. It's still creativity. You're looking at something else that exists, and that thing that exists, and you're appreciating the creativity behind it, can trigger an expression of that creativity in you at a point where you are probably not in immediate touch with what's going on. I take my creative relationships very seriously. For instance, it's important to me who is around me when I'm creating in whatever sphere of creativity, because these things, they tend to matter. The look on someone's face tends to matter. The atmosphere tends to matter. The smell of the room, my brother, is very...
It could upset you.
Absolutely. It could just block everything off.
I understand.
You're not flowing, and sometimes that smell can come from you. But it's alright. So I'm very conscious of my creative environment. While I am not completely dependent on it for creativity, it also invariably acts on the expression of that. It might not be the source, but it will definitely enhance. It's like artists that use a muse. You know what I mean? It's like, what's your muse? I think I've heard a spoken word piece on that before. What's your muse? Who inspires you? Who's around you? And you just see them and you're like, boom, and it get to work. And there's people like that just are around you. There's places you go. There's scenery that you see, in the visual world. There's stuff that you hear. There's soundscapes that you hear that just
triggers all those things. So everybody's unique. Everyone has a unique trigger.
So for me, I'm a hybrid of both.
Work in and out.
Yeah, creativity from nothing and creativity from the inspiration of what's around and who's around to get that jump started.
So to wrap up, because another thing I noticed creatives lack is the ability to know when to say no and when to rest. That's the thing, when to rest. So because I've been in that mood where I could run, I need to be reminded, dude, you have not had lunch, right? Or you have not eaten, you have not showered. It's a work, you could continue. Once you just get into the mood, you don't want to leave it. Okay, so how do you tame yourself and okay, calm down, I need to...
Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real honest. I don't know how to tame myself.
So you still need help with that.
I need help with that, and that's why I was going to say that for me, besides having people that are inspiring and all that, it's important for every creative, where possible, to have a very, very robust support system. And support systems are literally there to augment your weaknesses, check your excesses, and cover for your vulnerabilities. So if I don't have the, shall I say, willpower, for lack of a better word, because you know how it is, you're working on something and sometimes your body's actually even giving out and your body's telling you, I'm not going again.
I know that.
But then you're hearing what you're hearing, or you're seeing what you're seeing,
and you want to get it done.
And you want to get it done because you know that if that moment goes past on you, you'll be hard pressed to find that same flow
again.
And sometimes even the creative people around you, the people that you look up to and they inspire you, the same people will say, come now, you safe, honey, baby, daddy, whatever it is, son, time up. And at that point, because they're not in your headspace, you don't understand the processes you're going through to fully birth this thing, or at least get it to a point where you can leave it. Because sometimes you know that it's enough, but you just don't feel like you're at the point where you can leave it secured enough to continue, inspire you to continue next time. And you don't have the words to even explain that.
I don't think anybody ever has the words.
They're not even interested in understanding, because they don't know what you're doing until the day is finished. It's very nice. I understand. So I've invested a lot over the years in my support structure.
Okay.
People that can get me to do stuff. People that can literally, that are empowered to a degree to check in the excesses, to say, hey, it's time, really, it's time for you to go. Okay, eat this thing now. Get that done now. Don't come up around here. I don't want to see computer on. We ought to have that level of support systems, and the support systems themselves are sensitized to know that our work in your life is such that doesn't hamper your creativity.
It does,
because that's another extreme. So we just come, you know what? I don't care what you are doing right now. It's time to go and bath. Off this computer, and they pull it in from the power. Coop. you are rich. At that point. So you know what I mean? That's the shall I say balance?
Balance. So you need a support system.
So I just outsource that, man, to my support system. I don't know how to. If I say that to you, I'm lying. I don't know how to say, I've had enough. My body is literally caving out on me. I'm like, okay, you know what? I gotta. But I've learned as well over the years. Yes. That comes from experience. I've learned to listen to my body.
Yeah.
So after a while, you realize that nobody can advise you like your own body. Your body and one day you wake up and your body tells you, you know what?
I'm not going anywhere. We're staying here today.
Do what you want to do. Do what you want. I'm not going anywhere. So at those times, I've learned to say, okay, yes, sir, to my body. I don't break down easily, but I break down hard.
Oh, whenever you do.
Yeah. I don't break down easy. It takes a lot for me to break down, but I break down hard. So I try my best as I'm getting older, because when a man's getting older, we're young boys.
We tend to forget that sometimes.
Yeah, we're young boys no more. So that's it. So support system and listen to my body and
to keep it balanced. So every creative gets a support system, get something that keeps you in check.
Or you die.
Or you die
in the work, in the middle of the work,
and it doesn't make any sense. And you end up,
you were a beautiful creative. Remember your work. Then you tell that lie of, Peter lives on. It's a lie. You're dead.
You're dead and gone.
You're dead and gone.
Okay.
So that's it for me.
All right. So lastly, what's the one thing about you no one knows?
What's about the one thing about me?
One thing you like to do
that no one knows. But if I say it now, someone's going to know.
Yes, that's the idea.
Oh man. Let me think about what I want somebody to know. What's the one thing about me?
Aside the fact that I know you love chicken, like you love chicken, you don't joke with your chicken.
Yeah, I don't joke with my chicken. All right, I love tennis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's a shocker for me.
I love tennis. I've loved ping pong from when I was growing up.
That explains why I bring a ping pong ball.
Yeah, I've always loved ping pong growing up. And then I got into squash.
Oh,
I
never tried squash.
It's kind of interesting, especially when the wind is blowing. It blows the shuttle. Blows the shuttle away. I like squash because it teaches you focus. Oh. You're not just playing for the skill, but you have to take into consideration aerodynamics, taking the wind rush and all of that. It's not just where you hit the shuttle that's gonna go. And then I kind of got into lawn tennis. I love lawn tennis. Oh. I love running around and slamming stuff. You know that now. I love lawn tennis.
All right. So
the other things you still don't know.
Yeah, there's more to know. Okay, so you could check him out on Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah. Instagram is, what's my Instagram again? Jeez, old age. AlexanderVictor.official. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, AlexanderVictor.official.
And it's Alexander Victor, one word with a I instead of the with a one instead of the I for Victor.
Okay.
Alexander Victor on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook at the moment. Sorry, man. But yeah, Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, and then Ultrasound, same thing.
Ultrasound 360 on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah.
Ultrasound 360.
They have this amazing setup.
Yeah.
See, it's fresh. Anyway, so thank you so much for having this conversation.
Thanks for having me, man.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.